You may have felt like life has betrayed you, like no one sees your pain. You might be standing on the edge right now, wondering if what you're doing even matters. But here's what I want to tell you: God never fails, no matter what it looks like, no matter how deep the valley is, how strong the storm gets, or how long the night feels. You are not alone. When you choose to believe that things will get better, something powerful begins to happen inside your brain. Neuroscience calls it neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to reorganize itself by forming new neural connections. But this process isn't just about repetition or habit. It responds directly to what you believe. Faith, real faith, has the ability to awaken dormant parts of the brain. It creates momentum where there was once paralysis. When you start declaring that things will turn around, that there's purpose in your life, that God is still in control, your brain begins to align with that belief. It begins to seek possibilities instead of problems, to look for hope instead of danger. That's the intersection of science and the divine, where the human brain follows the power of spiritual conviction. Faith isn't a passive feeling. It's a force that activates transformation. Even in the most broken states of mind, even in deep depression or stress, the moment you introduce the idea that something greater is guiding you, your brain chemistry starts to shift. Dopamine rises, cortisol begins to lower, your body follows the signal that you're not alone, that something good is coming. When Andrew Huberman talks about how consistent practice reshapes the mind, faith takes it a step further. It gives the reason why you keep going when logic says stop. It gives you the emotional fuel to do the work of rewiring your thoughts. The truth is, our beliefs create the blueprint for our behavior. And if we truly believe God never fails, we begin to carry ourselves differently. We walk with expectation, we train our minds to bounce back faster, we look at challenges not as walls, but as waves, meant to be ridden, not feared. That's how faith becomes neurological. It's not just a feeling in your chest, it's an instruction to your brain to rebuild. So when you say, God's got this, you're not just hoping, you're giving your brain permission to heal, grow, and fight. Your biology follows your belief. That's why choosing faith isn't just spiritual, it's science-backed survival. And when you understand that, you stop doubting the process and start trusting the creator of the process. There are moments in life when everything seems quiet, too quiet. Prayers feel unanswered. Progress seems invisible. You begin to wonder if God even hears you, but what we often misinterpret as abandonment is actually alignment. The silence of God is never a sign that He's left you. It's a signal that He's working behind the scenes. Delay is not denial. Just like a seed planted in the ground doesn't break through the soil right away, your breakthrough is developing in the dark. The roots are taking hold. The structure is being prepared. And when the timing is right, what was hidden will suddenly become visible. In neuroscience, rest and pause are critical parts of growth. Muscles grow not during the workout, but during the recovery. Similarly, the brain consolidates memory and adapts during quiet, reflective times, not during noise and chaos. Spiritually, it's the same. God often speaks the loudest in the stillness, but we miss it because we expect Him to operate on our schedule. What feels like a delay is often divine timing, because if the blessing came too soon, you wouldn't be ready for it. That silence, it's not punishment, it's preparation. God is building your character, sharpening your discernment, and increasing your endurance. We live in a fast-paced world that equates activity with progress, but the kingdom of God doesn't work like a microwave. It works like a slow cooker. Deep change takes time. Sometimes God pulls you back so He can launch you further. And in those moments of stillness, trust becomes the most powerful tool you have. You must learn to trust that silence is not empty. It's full of God's presence, full of strategy, full of promise. Think of the greatest comebacks in life. Almost all of them are preceded by a period of obscurity. That's not a coincidence. That's God's method. The quiet seasons are not wasted seasons. They are seasons where roots grow deep, where your identity is refined, and where your future is fortified. So when you're in the waiting room of life, don't panic. Just because you don't hear movement doesn't mean there's no momentum. Trust the silence, embrace the delay, because when the moment finally comes, it will be worth every second you waited. And it will be undeniable that God never failed. Pain is one of life's most universal experiences, yet it's also one of the most misunderstood. Most people run from it, numb it, or curse it. But what if pain was never meant to destroy you, but to develop you? When you go through suffering, something powerful happens, not just emotionally, but spiritually and even neurologically. Pain activates deep areas of the brain linked to learning, memory, and transformation. In other words, the fire that you're walking through is forging a stronger version of you. That's not just motivational talk, that's truth. And when you walk with God, pain becomes a purposeful tool, not a random accident. God never wastes pain. Every setback is a setup. Every heartbreak teaches compassion. Every disappointment stretches your character. Without trials, there can be no transformation. Just like muscle cannot grow without resistance, your soul cannot evolve without struggle. When you're in pain, you're in the process of being reshaped, refined, and redefined. You may feel like you're breaking, but in God's hands, you're actually being rebuilt. Your greatest growth doesn't come on the mountaintop, it comes in the valley. And while the valley may be dark, God's presence is brightest there. Even science agrees. People who go through pain and assign meaning to it are more resilient and live with greater purpose. That's the power of faith. It gives meaning to your suffering. It says, "I may not understand this now, but I trust that it's shaping something eternal." Faith lets you hold on when everything else is falling apart. It turns pain into fuel. It turns tears into testimony. And in time, you begin to see the pattern, how everything you thought would break you was actually building you. The truth is, if you're walking through pain right now, it's not a sign that God has left you. It's a sign that He's working on something deeper in you. Pain is preparation. It's God digging out the weak parts so He can plant something unshakable. You may not see the reason yet, but one day you will look back and say, "That season didn't destroy me. It revealed the strength God had placed in me." Because in God's plan, nothing is wasted, not even your pain. When God is in control, the outcome is never in question. You may face battles, but the victory is already written into your story. Life can feel like chaos. Things fall apart, plans fail, people walk away, and circumstances change in an instant. But none of that catches God by surprise. He's not reacting to your situation. He's already orchestrating the solution. What looks like a setback is often a setup for something greater. That's the power of walking with a God who never fails. When you trust that He's in control, you stop living from a place of fear and start living from a place of expectation. In every area of life, whether it's business, relationships, or health, people want certainty. They want to know it will all work out. That's where faith steps in. Faith says, even if I can't see the ending, I know the author. Faith is not a fantasy. It's a decision to anchor your soul in the unchanging character of God. And when He is leading your life, you're not walking toward possible failure. You're walking into inevitable victory. It may not look like the version you imagined, but it will always be better than what you could have built on your own. When God designs the outcome, every detour becomes part of the destination. Every closed door becomes divine protection. Every delay is strategic. That doesn't mean life will be easy. It means life will be purposeful. You won't always understand it in the moment, but looking back, you'll realize the timing was perfect, the pain was necessary, and the journey was customized just for you. That's how deeply involved God is in your story. And let's be honest, there are times when we feel like we've lost everything, but God is not limited by your current situation. He creates something out of nothing. He resurrects what seems dead. And when you align with His plan, you'll find that His version of success is so much greater than anything you could chase on your own. So stop measuring your future by what you've lost or where you've failed. Start measuring it by who's holding your future, because when God is in control, the ending is never failure. It's always victory, every time without exception.